Yo, what up, guys? It's a bowl of cereal, and today, me and my boy Reed. Go ahead, Reed. Say what's up.
What's up, guys?
We're gonna be grading the 2020 draft picks, first round only. Just a quick letter grade, and whether we agree or disagree with how the team wins, I'm taking the odds today. Reed will be taking the evens. So yeah, let's get right into this. I'm starting first pick in the draft. Joe Burrow, obviously, has to be Joe Burrow. Bengals getting A. He was the best choice on the board. They had the first pick. They could have gave away draft picks, and they could have gave away Joe Burrow for a ton of draft picks. They hold on. I think it was the right choice. ESPN graded him at a 94, number one at his position. Yeah, you have to take Burrow. It was a great season, and yeah, I give it an A. I read you're up at pick two.
Yeah. All right, at pick two, we have the Washington Redskins selecting Chase Young. I mean, there was no, unless they were to go for another quarterback, I didn't see another option for them. Um, I'll give them an A. I think Chase Young was the most talented player in the draft. So, yeah, I'll go going with an A for the Redskins.
I agree. All right, on to number three. We got the Detroit Lions. They take the cornerback from Ohio State, Jeff Okuda. Let's see. ESPN ranked him at a 94 grade and number one at his position. I mean, Detroit, they're Detroit. They have pick number three for a reason. They're in a bad situation right now. They lack talent pretty much all across the board. They could have went
They
anywhere.
just let Slay walk too.
Yeah, and they have to fill a corner need, but I mean, do you need to fill a corner need when your whole team is bad right now? I think they could have went with one of the better offensive linemen just to help out their pass and run game because they don't have much of one. But again, they have holes everywhere, so they take the best corner in the draft, and I give this pick personally a C. I mean, he's definitely the best corner in the draft, but they have team needs. I think they could have helped more with the better offensive lineman. And yeah, so I give that pick a C. And back to Reed with pick number four.
All right. At pick number four, we have the good old Giants selecting an offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. Oh man, um, I as a Giants fan, from the start was against choosing a lineman. I think everyone's dream as a Giants fan was for somehow Chase Young to fall to them, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. I think next in line should have been Isaiah Simmons. Um, and the fact that they chose a lineman and they didn't choose the Alabama guy, which is the one that I felt like was getting the most praise, I just feel like it's a risky pick when you didn't have to take that much risk while only picking a lineman. I'll give it a C plus because it might work out, but I'm just bored of the pick.
I feel that. All right, pick number five. We got Dolphins. They
The
take
highest risk pick in the draft.
that's very true. Very
Like no other way to describe it.
very injury prone Tua. I'm gonna avoid saying his last name just in case I ever meet Tua in the future. Don't want that video ever surfacing. They take Tua. He's 6 foot, 217 pounds. He had a great overall season. He only missed a very few games, but he spent most of every offseason injured. I mean, it's a high risk, high reward pick. He has high probability of getting hurt, but if he can stay healthy, which probably won't happen with the
He's one of the
Dolphins,
most talented players. Like
yeah,
he is talented. That's what you have to admit that.
the talent's there. If he can stay healthy, I mean, there's young weapons, young receivers like Kenny Stills down in Miami right now. It'll be exciting if he can play. I don't know if he'll play this year, but um, maybe they strengthen their offensive line again next year and then put him in. But he's graded high. He's very talented. I give the pick a B minus. Is injury risk that you have to factor. Talent wise, he's an A, but pick wise, it's risky. It's a risky pick.
It's a big risk.
Yeah, it's a big risk you're taking right there. So I give it a B minus. And on to pick six.
For pick 6, we have the Chargers selecting the Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert. Um, a very not surprising, but like a pick that just doesn't bring much excitement if I'm a Chargers fan. I feel. I feel like the fact that we have Tyrod Taylor and that it seems like the management has said from the get-go that Tyrod is going to be the starter day one. Uh, and I just feel like if Herbert ends up taking the starting spot, I don't know how much further ahead that puts them. Like just losing Philip Rivers, who they had built a system around for years. I don't see Herbert filling the shoes of that at any point. I give it a B minus because like it's still a pick that like they had to make because Tyrod isn't your long term, but I just I don't see Herbert being the guy for them.
Yeah, I didn't watch Herbert a lot in college, but when I saw and like seeing now, he's 6'6", 236 pounds. Like Tua is 6 foot. Herbert is 6'6", a whole half a foot taller than him. That is wow. That's crazy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the quarterback position. All right, next at 7, we have the Carolina Panthers taking the defensive tackle from Auburn, Derek Brown. Carolina Panthers, have you guys know, they moved on from management and from coach. Rivera, Cam Newton, and the middle linebacker, Luke, all saying goodbye. A big chapter in Carolina's book is closing, which is crazy because they were all pretty young. So that's unique to see them all.
It feels like they were in the Super Bowl yesterday.
I
Like
know.
it doesn't feel like it was that
That's
long ago.
crazy.
Crazy how that turns around.
Yeah. So we get some early retirements, some early departures. Cam Newton battled a couple of injuries, and they move on from him. So we got a new coach, a new system. McCaffrey now is they made him the highest paid. Their system's around him, so they bring in some defensive help after paying their offensive weapon. They could have went receiver. Honestly, they have DJ Moore, but with a quarterback now who's going to be their quarterback, really. They don't have a star quarterback. They could have gave him some help. Their tight end, Greg Olsen, moves on. He's in Seattle. They could have went. I mean, I don't know if you take a tight end with the 7th overall pick. Hopefully later in the draft they took a tight end. But it's going to be. I give the pick itself. I mean, maybe like a B plus. It's strong defensive line help, but I mean, no one else really in NFC South is going to be running. It's more of a pass conference division.
Like we weren't thinking that's what they need.
Yeah,
when they made that choice.
yeah. Defensive tackle wasn't like they need to fill the run. They need to stop the run. I mean, he could be a great talent for them, but I don't think as a team it helps them. Like they had more holes on offense that needed filled more than they did on their defensive line, but again, the talent's there. Just the pick for the team itself, I felt like it could have been stronger. So yeah, I think just right around that B range for this pick. All right, pick number 8.
All right, pick number 8, we have Isaiah Simmons to the Cardinals. I can't believe that Isaiah Simmons fell down to the Cardinals. It is unreal to me. The Cardinals got a steal considering where they were in the draft order. I give it an A. I mean, I still don't see like the Cardinals. I just don't see Kyler Murray turning it around yet. I mean, they have D Hop and Kenyon Drake has shown some promise, but like I just feel like Simmons definitely fills a hole in their defense, but their defense still needs to figure out a lot of stuff because they gave up a lot of points last season.
Yeah, yeah, they did. Okay, moving on to pick number 9. We have Jacksonville Jaguars taking a corner from Florida, C.J. Henderson. He is 6'1", 200 pounds. Jacksonville, as you know, Jalen Ramsey, he wanted to get paid. He came in last season in the Brinks truck, and he left last season in an empty Brinks truck. But then the Rams paid him. So he didn't get his payday from Jacksonville, but he did get a payday. So they needed to fill a corner spot, yes. But again, if you know Jacksonville, you know they got the quarterback battle of Minshew and the Super Bowl winning quarterback Folks. Yeah, I don't know. They grade him high to 91. I don't know if I would have gone corner. He tackles well. He plays well. It's a great change that like they needed to.
It reminds me a lot of the Lions
Yeah,
pick,
that's what I
where
was
it's
gonna.
like they filled a hole
Yeah,
that they created.
yeah. They just fill a hole that they themselves put themselves in, but they don't. This doesn't make them better. This is the same team with a younger corner now, and who knows? Like, will he be better than Ramsey? I mean, Ramsey's a lockdown corner, who was your team was already not doing so hot with him. So I don't know. This doesn't change much for me. So the pick itself, I give it a C. Again, it's another pick with talent, but it's not making your team better. So again, I give this pick a C. Don't know what Jacksonville's thinking. This is probably another wash year. They'll probably end up with another top 10 pick next year. Pick number 10.
All right, number 10, we got the Cleveland Browns selecting Jedrick Willis, the offensive tackle from Alabama. The Browns have mixed it up. The last few picks they made in the draft early on were the flashiest you could create, and it seems like it's not working out. So they go another route, selecting who I thought, based off the combine and whatnot, that this was the best tackle in the draft. I give it a B plus because like it's an offensive tackle. I mean, the Browns had the most talented offensive tackle of all time, and they did nothing with it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, moving on to
I'll give it a B plus. I don't know if I already gave it that, but
B plus. Okay, okay. It'll definitely help out. Hopefully, give Baker some more time and help out the run game even more. Chubb did great last season, so I bet he's
I mean
even.
it's hard to do worse than what they've been doing with their draft picks. So
That's true, also. Okay, number 11, the Jets also getting in on that lineman action. Um, Reed, would you like to pronounce this guy's name?
Mekhi Becton, let's
Okay.
say.
Okay, Mekhi Becton, 6'7", 364 pounds. They got him listed at 92 overall grade. It's the Jets. I know Le'Veon Bell is happy with this pick. Strengthen up the offensive line. The Jets really last season, they were kind of like the Cowboys in a sense, where one week they'd show up amazing, the other week you were like, who is this team? They're garbage. They were kind of wishy-washy. They had a lot of sickness and illness going on in their locker room last season, so they were never at full strength for the whole time. So yeah, hopefully their quarterback can stay healthy this season. They get some offensive line help. Hopefully Le'Veon still has something left in the tank. This will definitely help them. But again, the Jets are another team where they could have filled a lot other positions, a lot other holes also. But I guess they decided their offensive line was something they wanted to start building on. I give the pick C plus or B minus, right around in that range. I didn't see him play a lot in college, but he definitely looks like he has a lot of potential. But yeah, we'll see what the Jets do with him. All right, pick 12.
Pick 12, we have the Raiders selecting the first receiver in a receiver deep draft of Henry Ruggs. Um, I mean, the Raiders have had their wide receiver issues, so I feel like this pick is something that they needed to do. Ruggs has a very high ceiling based off of what we've been able to see in college. He's one of the few receivers that I see like bring a lot of bright spots to the college scene. Like I've seen a lot of receivers that just go under the radar, but this guy's definitely opened some eyes in his time at Alabama. I'll give it a B plus. I mean, I still don't see it putting the Raiders over any sort of hump, but John Gruden needs to figure it out soon.
Yeah, that's true. I think he was one of the faster receivers in this draft too. So they go with speed. So it's surprising. There were a couple other receivers on the board who go a couple picks later who I know those teams were happy about. Okay, pick 13, Tristan. I think it's Wirfs from Iowa. Sorry if I butchered your last name. 6'5", 320 pounds. So Tampa Bay selecting an offensive lineman to help Tom Brady, the would-be 43-year-old Tom Brady when the season starts. We get a young, really big offensive tackle to help out even more with that line. They ESPN grades him at a 91. I mean, Tampa Bay, they personally, I think they should have
It's
went
hard to say they're
defense.
doing anything wrong.
But yeah, I mean, offensive wise, and I mean everything they can do free agency wise. I mean, they bring in Tom Brady. They trade in some super late picks, and they get Gronk out of retirement. They already have two Pro Bowl receivers. They already had a young, great tight end. Their offensive line obviously wasn't terrible last year. I mean, Jameis threw for like 5,000 yards. So they move on from Jameis. They replace him with a better quarterback. They bring in more talent. They make the offensive line even better. Now their weakness obviously is defense, but I think pick-wise, this is a great pick. You need to protect Tom Brady. He's 43, and you want to give him as much time as possible with the young talent receivers that he will have now. So yeah, I give the pick. I give the pick a B plus, maybe A minus. I mean, it's a solid pick for Tampa Bay. It's what they needed to do. They've already made their moves, and pick number 14.
Pick 14, we have the Niners picking Javon Kinlaw, the D tackle out of South Carolina. Very similar to the Bucks pick, except on the other side of the ball. I don't see why the Niners needed to upgrade anything on the defensive side. I feel like, considering they faced the most talented offense we've seen in recent years with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I feel like the Niners held their own. It was they weren't able to capitalize on offense. I would have liked more, so maybe because a bunch of tackles were just picked recently, they didn't go O line, but I just don't see how D tackle helps them. I mean, I'll give it a B minus because like he was pretty high up on the draft board, but I still don't really get why that was the pick to go with.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, pick number 15. We have another receiver, a second receiver going, and we have Jerry Jeudy, who's about to pair up with Sutton now in Denver. Jerry Jeudy, obviously Alabama receiver. He was one for position rank for ESPN and graded just as equally as Burrow was at a 94 overall grade. Jerry Jeudy, 6'1", almost 200 pounds, so he's got 2 inches and almost 15 pounds on the receiver that the Raiders take. They chose speed. The Broncos, they choose a little bit more height and someone I think a little bit more developed. He will definitely be a great duo with Sutton. They have a young quarterback who started to, and Drew Lock, who came alive a little bit last season. Him and Sutton developed a connection. So if Judy's able to get in there, build on the chemistry, I think this definitely helps the Broncos offense out a lot. Definitely will help their aerial attack and spreading the field much more. So I give this a grade of A. Very talented receiver, very great pick. And on to pick 16.
16, we have the Falcons selecting a cornerback out of Clemson, AJ Terrell. For those who don't remember, the Falcons just let Desmond Trufant go, a cornerback that's been there for a number of years for them. I see this as just going for young over veteran.
Yeah.
I think they're just projecting that Trufant was on his decline. I like the pick. I mean, I don't think it's anything too flashy. I'd give it a B minus.
Yeah, I agree. And they gave him his grade was so much. Everyone else's around him are in the 90s. His grade was an 83. Wow.
Well, he must have been the next corner or something
Now his position rank was
on like
6.
the board.
No, he was not the next
Oh,
corner on the board.
they
Yeah.
must have seen something in some
Wow.
workout or something.
Yeah, that's so we'll see. I know he was also getting bashed because he was the one in the national championship game who was getting torched all game long. So people were surprised, but they were saying that they chose like you said the veteran thing, but also the money thing. Trufant's cap hit was a lot bigger.
Yeah, because they were going to have to pay him.
Yeah, and the rookie deal.
He wanted his. This is his first big contract
Big.
since going all pro.
Yeah.
He had a pretty like stagnant contract,
Yeah.
so he wants to get paid now.
Okay, now we're moving on to pick 17, which I think was the best pick in this draft, aside from Joe Burrow, obviously at number 1. And Chase, you can argue these three, Joe Burrow, Chase Young, and I think CeeDee Lamb were the most talented people with the highest rookie ceilings for who are going to be some of the biggest names in years to come. If they can stay healthy and stay on the right path. But CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys get him at 17. Almost every mock draft had CeeDee Lamb going a lot earlier than 17. And although the Dallas Cowboys did just pay Amari Cooper his $100 million, so he didn't leave in free agency, CeeDee Lamb definitely will be another weapon to help out younger Dak Prescott. And they did let Cobb go, who played some more slot than CeeDee Lamb normally plays. But CeeDee Lamb does have some familiarity with playing the slot. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's really aggressive going to get the ball. And his playmaking after the ball and his highlights are insane. So I know Jerry Jones was very happy to make this pick, that he was still on the board. I give this pick an A because just they took the best receiver available. I know they need some secondary help on defense, but if they're going to outscore everyone, then I give the pick an A. I think it helps out their offense a lot, and if he stays healthy, it'll help Dallas with the McCarthy era getting off on the right foot. And pick number 18.
Pick number 18, we have the Dolphins selecting Austin Jackson, the tackle out of USC. I just see this as a straightforward pick to working to protect your injury-prone first-round pick in Tua. You got to build that line for him to have a shot in this league, because if he just gets banged up, he's going to be bound to be injured.
Yeah.
I give it a B minus. There's nothing surprising about the pick, but I also wouldn't have done anything different, honestly.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on to 19, we have the Raiders again with their second pick in the first round, and they take Damon Arnett, the cornerback from Ohio State. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. The Raiders went receiver, and they went opposite, and they go corner. The Raiders, they have a young running back. They have some question marks at quarterback because it seems Gruden isn't the biggest fan of Carr, but they don't draft a quarterback. They draft someone to help the quarterback and then someone to help stop the other team's receivers. The Raiders are a very young team in a lot of positions, so they bring in a young corner and a young receiver to try to help out both sides of the ball. I like going opposite sides of the field to help out and strengthen both sides of your team. So I'll give the pick a B+. Position rank wise, he's 7th. He didn't have the highest overall grade, but sometimes the grades don't always determine what happens. But I think they definitely need to help out both sides of the ball here with young players. All right, pick number 20.
20, we have the Jaguars selecting a linebacker out of LSU, Clavon Chasen, I want to say. The Jaguars have let their defense that was supposed to be pretty premier just fall apart right before our eyes, and it seems like they can't get anything in order at that facility. The GM, everyone, they need to clean house as soon as possible. A pick, they certainly need to build up that defense that they destroyed, but I don't see it making any sudden difference. I give it a C minus.
Yeah. They tore the whole thing down just to
everything they've done in the offseason has just assured me that they still don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Also, just for the record, Clavon Chasen. There we go. Okay. Also, he's 6'3", 250. LSU's linebacker. All right, pick number 21. This one was a little bit of a head-scratcher pick for me and a lot of people. This was the Philadelphia Eagles taking Jalen. I think it's Rieger from TCU. 5'11", 206 pounds. He's a smaller receiver, but they say he has, and it's their quote here, short arms but good top end speed. So it's a smaller target with some speed, but wait, don't they already have Deshaun Jackson? I thought so. They also have Alshon Jeffrey, but he's getting older. But the injury plagued last season.
I kind of understand the pick. I kind of get it. Like, they had nothing for Wentz last year with all the injuries.
Yes, And I'm surprised personally that they didn't try to move up from the 21 pick to somewhere earlier in the draft to get one of those receivers, like the Judy or the CD Lamb. They tried to get Amari Cooper in free agency, and Dallas had to fork over all that money. So they draft a young receiver. On the draft board though, at his position he was ninth, and his grade was an 82, and only 3 receivers before him got drafted. So again, maybe this is one of the guys they saw something in, something special, or maybe it was a character thing. They really thought he was someone who could lead the locker room in years to come. But basically, it just looks like they're kind of replacing Deshaun Jackson, who's older and missed all last season with an injury. Maybe they don't think he comes back at full strength or comes back at all. Yes, I mean, I give the pick like a B plus. They need to take a receiver. They take their shot with him. Personally, I would have went with someone else, but at least they drafted a receiver. So yeah, I give it around that B range. All right, pick 22.
All right, the Vikings pick Justin Jefferson, a talented wide receiver out of LSU. Considering how deep this wide receiver class was, I'm still pretty surprised how late Justin Jefferson was in the draft. Um, he shows a lot of promise being a big possession receiver with some speed to boot it. The Vikings need to fill in that hole of letting go of Stephon Diggs, so I'm not at all surprised by this pick considering that. Um, I see it paying off for them. I'll give it a B plus, just because it was. I'm still not thinking that he's a star coming out of the gate, but it's certainly a step in the right direction considering the loss of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that's very true. I would have liked to see the Eagles take him a pick before, but again, we'll see next year and years to come how that pans out. But I definitely do like that pick replacing him with Diggs. Okay, pick 23. We have the inside linebacker Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma. He gets drafted to the Chargers. So the Chargers, another pick, new stadium, new location. They're no longer down in Florida. So they're trying to beef up some names on the roster, some talent, try to get some. They bounce, they go quarterback. Now they're going defense. They're going linebackers. So kind of the quarterback of the defense here. 6'3", 240 pounds. I mean, they needed help on the defense. Not really. Their defense is stacked pretty much at every single position. Defensive line, I mean, secondary, I mean, man, I don't know. They could have went with another receiver or some kind of young tight end. Definitely not running back. They got those
They
two
need a
great
ground
running
and pound.
backs.
They let Melvin Gordon walk, didn't they?
Did they?
Like they had no one to hand the ball off to.
I didn't know they let Melvin go.
Look it up. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they let him go.
Yeah, but so if they let Melvin go, then yeah, they could have taken Swift from Georgia. I know he went early in the second, but yeah, I mean their defense is pretty stacked, but they just make it even stronger now. I mean I know they're in the same division and they're going to be playing some really great teams, and some teams that have some good offenses, so they want to even stack their defense up even more. I personally think they should have went with an offensive weapon, but I mean, you strengthen your strengths up even more, and that's what they decided to do here. So I give the pick a B. It was a solid pick, but I think they could have went with something on offense. I pick 24.
All right, we have the Saints picking Cesar Ruiz from Michigan. I mean, the only real thing, considering how well the team performed in the regular season, the only thing they really needed to fix was the receiver situation, if anything. And they did that already with the pickup of Emmanuel Sanders. I understand the pick going O-line. I don't really know what other direction would have been ideal for them, so I'll give them an A minus for that pick, considering how late they were in the draft.
Okay, and yeah, I think Melvin Gordon got sent to the Broncos. Yeah, he did. Okay, so yeah, they did have a hole to fill there with Melvin Gordon leaving. I know he held out, so they have just Eckler on their roster. So if they
Yeah,
didn't go,
that just doesn't make sense to me that they didn't go for ground and pound anywhere in the free agency or the draft.
Yeah, maybe later in the draft they did, but that's yeah. They, I mean, who knows? Maybe they think they'll get someone off of, after the draft. Okay, 25, Brandon Ayuk from Arizona. He gets drafted to the San Francisco 49ers. Another receiver. Now, late in the draft, all the receivers really started to go between 14 and 25. I thought some of the receivers would have went higher, but a lot of the linemen got a lot of love early on. So the 49ers added another receiver. Jimmy G didn't really throw the ball at all in the playoffs, so it's surprising that they're even drafting receivers if they're not throwing the ball at all. They do a lot of handoffs to receivers, so maybe they think he's got talent in that area. They again, a lot of teams just filled holes they created themselves, really for no reason other than to save money. Like Reed said, 49ers gave up their receiver, kind of didn't pay him, so then he goes to the Saints. So now they draft a receiver. Again, you never know with drafting a guy. Is he going to be better or worse than the person you had there before? I mean, they grade him at a 90 in his position. Rank was a 5, so how he dropped under people he was projected to go higher than. So it's surprising that he lasted this long. Maybe he's got some injury history I'm not aware of. But 49ers stacked that. I mean, they have weapons on offense. They give, they give their quarterback another weapon. We'll see. They reload. They lose in the Super Bowl. And maybe this pick will help them. I don't personally think so. But, I mean, their team is pretty stacked all around. So who else do you draft, really? I don't know because you don't take a quarterback. So I give the pick a B. They add some more firepower, but who do you take? So yeah, we're moving on to pick 26.
For the 25th pick, you said?
26th.
Oh, 26th.
Yeah.
We have the Green Bay Packers selecting Jordan Love out of Utah State. One of the biggest head scratchers in this draft, I must
Yeah.
say. Considering that after this pick, the GM said that he has no interest in thinking about ending Aaron Rodgers' tenure at QB. So I kind of see this as a punch in the face to Jordan Love and his potential, where he could have gone to another team, like maybe the Panthers could have got him in the second round or something, where like he could actually have an effect on the franchise that drafts him. But we'll see where this goes from here, I suppose.
Yeah. What'd you grade it at?
I'd give it a C minus because it is just confusing to me. All in all, I mean, I don't know. I'll give it a D.
Yeah.
Like I really have no clue why. It makes zero sense
Yeah, with
considering.
the holes at receiver that Aaron Rodgers has been begging to fill, and they give up Jimmy Graham in free agency too. So now even your red zone target's gone, and you go quarterback, who you're now saying you're not even thinking about starting. Just to chime in, because this is the one I wanted to talk about the most during this video, I give the pick an F. Like you said, insulting. It fixes zero things for your team in anywhere near the near future. You have one of the best quarterbacks, at quarterback, but with no help, what's it gonna do? Absolutely nothing. And now you draft another quarterback, again, who's a talented quarterback, but is now going to sit there. Are you going to trade him away? It's just a very, very bizarre pick. There's always one every draft, and Green Bay, they said hold my beer this year. Okay, pick 27. We got Jordan Brooks. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks had a dominant defense the past couple of years prior to this year. They still made some moves last year in free agency and brought in Clowney and some other interior line to help, but they've also slowly been breaking apart and dishing away. They had a lot of their Legion of Boom from a couple of years ago are now all gone, except for Wagner at your middle linebacker. He's really your only key piece still there. They still have a couple of strong defensive linemen on the interior, but really they're just trying to. It looks like Pete Carroll's just trying to remake a stronger defense. They've got some good offensive weapons. They went offense last draft, so now it looks like they're going defense to help out, stock up that defense, and help them in the playoffs and in their very tough and talented division themselves. So I give this the pick itself. I give it about a B plus. He's not graded very high, but Pete Carroll seems to have an eye for drafts and talent, so I'm going to trust them on this one, and they help their defense out here. I pick 28.
All right, I have the Ravens at 28, picking Patrick Queen, a linebacker out of LSU. As the Ravens, considering they only had one pick in the first round and it was late, but otherwise they probably had the most complete draft of any team, rounds 1 through 7. Um, First round was a great start because of, I mean, you saw their team looked pretty much unstoppable. They faced their first like super dedicated run heavy defense and they just get obliterated in the playoffs.
Yeah.
LSU's linebackers, they had some behemoths last year. We'll see how they transfer over to the league. But I see this a pick that moves the team in the right direction, considering how great of a season they had and how sad of an ending it had. I give this pick a minus,
Yeah.
and I I just love the way they drafted rounds 1 through 7. But I like the first round pick as well.
Yeah. He had him at number one at his position in a 90 overall grade. This is the pick I thought the Saints were taking. The Saints' really only big need I felt like was a really strong linebacker to help out. So yeah, I think the Baltimore Ravens got a steal at 28, and he's a champion. He has a champion mentality. I think he's gonna be like, and they'll have Ray Lewis at the facility sometimes as a mentor. I'm like, as a linebacker, what else could you want? So yeah, I think that's definitely a great pick for the Ravens. It'll definitely help out in stopping more of the run in the division and definitely in the playoffs next year as long as they stay healthy. Okay, at 29, Tennessee Titans take Isaiah Wilson, a tackle, 6'7", 350 pounds from Georgia. Massive, massive lineman. Graded at a B plus, almost A minus range on here. Draft wise, I'd say a B. I mean, their run game last year was unstoppable anyway. Before adding a 6'7", 350-pound lineman, who's most likely going to come in and start. And now, I mean, it's going to make the run game even better. They have some talented receivers too, so this will definitely help get more pass time and more pass protection. Just the fact alone, it's a gigantic body you're not going to have to get around. I'm not sure if he's going to be on the interior or the outside, just as offensive tackle, but I give it a B. It helps strengthen their offensive line. I'm not too familiar with the Titans on defense, but I know they had a nice playoff run last year, and this will definitely help out their run game and even more. So I give the pick a B. And pick 30.
Pick 30, we have the Dolphins selecting the Auburn corner. Noah, not even going to try pronouncing his name, but the cornerback out of Auburn.
Smart move.
The Dolphins, they acquired Byron Jones in free agency. They have Xavier Howard. I don't really get why they felt the need to go corner here. Maybe they're thinking of, since they run a zone heavy defense, they might be trying to just stick him in a DB position and just run zones. So considering that this is maybe just a pick to be moving someone to safety at some point, I'll give it a C plus. I still don't really get why this is what they went for.
Yeah, he was graded a 79 and 8
Yeah, like
at his position.
I just don't get it. I just don't get why that was the pick. I mean, they had the first 2 picks they made in the first round. I loved, but
Yeah.
this one, it just didn't make sense to me.
I would have been
It just didn't.
I would have been okay even if they went with another offensive lineman, like who was.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have complained. It would have been like, oh, okay, that's
like
what you got to do.
yeah. So maybe
Maybe they wanted the Georgia guy that the Titans picked.
Yeah,
and this was their next on the board.
that's true.
Because
Honestly,
I don't, they
yeah,
did another offensive lineman wasn't picked until the 58th pick. So
yeah. So yeah, I could
I
definitely see
understand it.
them wanting to go for him. Maybe they thought
Oh
talent
no,
wise.
they got a guard in round two. They got a guard in round two. So
Hmm,
yeah,
okay.
it makes sense.
All right.
Makes sense.
Pick 30, another TCU guy. We have a corner, Jeff Gladney, going to the Vikings. Again, the Vikings defense a couple years ago that went into the playoffs was very solid. Their defense now still is very solid. They have a great D line. They have really good linebackers and a pretty decent secondary also, but they have lost some of their corners and DBs to injuries and trades. So they bring in someone who is 5'10", 190 pounds. Looks like he plays bigger and bigger games. They say he plays tough and bigger than his size. Person as a Saints fan, I hate the Vikings, but pick wise for the hole they need to fill, they already filled the other receiver spot with the young guy. So now it looks like they're filling a corner spot. I give the pick a B plus. It looks like pretty solid. He's at 85 overall grade. Looks like the Vikings again make another sound choice here in the draft. And the last pick, pick 32.
We have the Kansas City Chiefs picking an LSU running back, Clyde Edwards Heller. I really didn't care what the Chiefs did because whatever pick they made, they're still going to be top four team in the league, no matter
Yeah,
what. There's nothing we can really do about it. Um, I like that they went offense for the draft because it seems like they like to beef up their defense because of inconsistencies. They like to beef up their defense in free agency when they already know the players that they're going for and have seen them play. Um, I understand. I get the pick. Kareem Hunt, even though they won the Super Bowl, you just still kind of get annoyed the way that the Kareem Hunt situation fell out.
yeah,
Um, I completely agree with the Chiefs parting ways with him, but it's a big waste because that was a first round pick that kind of just went down the drain. Um, I see them trying to fill in a slight hole. I mean, they're a Super Bowl winning team. There's not much you can really complain about
yeah.
considering your previous season. But yeah, I like the pick. I like that they went offense. I'll
Okay.
give it a B minus considering it was a late first round pick. I don't see it returning hugely, but I see it helping.
Yeah. And even if I wonder if they got any calls if a team wanted to jump up back into the first round to snag someone before the second round started the next day. I wonder if because winning the Super Bowl they did. I mean they did have a position to fill at running back, but they could have got Swift in the second. They could have got like a solid running back in the third. But I mean, he just won the Super Bowl, so no one's gonna tell their GM who to draft or that he made a mistake because they just won a Super Bowl. Thank you guys for watching, and there'll be more football videos coming up in the near future, primarily fantasy football as long as the NFL season actually kicks off. I'll be doing some fantasy football videos, but thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.